My beloved child. Stop scrolling for just a moment, because what you are about to hear was not placed in your path by accident. There is a reason your eyes landed here at this exact moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Every second of this message carries another piece of a mystery that no one expected, and by the end, you may see this story in a completely different light. There was silence before the truth arrived. Not ordinary silence, but the kind that fills a room when every heartbeat suddenly becomes louder than every voice. A family had gathered together, believing they already knew their story. They believed the past was settled. They believed the questions had already been answered. Yet heaven could see something none of them could. One sheet of paper. One name. One answer. Everything was about to change. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before those results were ever printed, hidden moments had already been unfolding behind closed doors. Tiny details that seemed meaningless at the time were quietly fitting together like pieces of an invisible puzzle. A forgotten conversation, an unexpected phone call, a memory that suddenly refused to stay buried. None of it made sense then. But it would. Soon. Very soon. Imagine standing inside that room. Nobody smiled. Nobody moved. Some stared at the floor. Others avoided eye contact. Even those who claimed to have nothing to fear suddenly felt uncertain. It was as though every person present sensed that once those words were spoken aloud, life would never return to the way it had been. Pause here. Can you feel that tension? Because this is only the beginning. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Long before this day arrived, quiet whispers had traveled through the family for years. Questions no one wanted to ask. Stories that changed every time someone repeated them. Little gaps in old memories that everyone ignored because facing them felt too difficult. Some believed everything would stay hidden forever. Others secretly hoped the truth would finally come into the light. Neither side was prepared for what was about to happen. One person in that room kept replaying old conversations inside their mind. Why had certain photographs disappeared? Why had certain names never been mentioned? Why did one relative always become uncomfortable whenever the past came up? The answers were closer than anyone realized. And heaven watched every second. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then the envelope appeared. Simple. Plain. Silent. It didn't look powerful. Yet inside it rested words capable of changing generations. Everyone stared. Nobody reached for it immediately. Even opening the envelope felt heavier than lifting a mountain. Because once truth leaves the paper, it cannot return. One deep breath. Another. The room became perfectly still. Someone whispered. Are we really ready? No one answered. Because deep inside, nobody was. But what happened next shocked every heart inside that room. The paper unfolded slowly. Eyes scanned the first lines. Expressions began changing before a single word was spoken. Confusion. Disbelief. Shock. Someone blinked repeatedly, convinced they had misunderstood. Another person quietly shook their head. A chair gently moved backward across the floor. Still. No one spoke. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The silence itself became louder than any conversation. Every person looked at the one holding the results. Read them. The words were barely louder than a whisper. Another pause. Another heartbeat. Another moment where time itself seemed frozen. Then, the first sentence was spoken aloud. Immediately, several faces changed. Not because they understood everything, but because they realized this was leading somewhere no one had imagined. Questions began racing through every mind. Had someone been hiding the truth? Had old assumptions been wrong all along? Could years of misunderstanding disappear in a single afternoon? Nobody knew. Yet. And that uncertainty made every second feel endless. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Outside the room, life continued normally. Cars passed. Birds sang. The wind moved gently through the trees. But inside, everything had stopped. Because sometimes the greatest turning points happen in complete silence. Not with loud celebrations. Not with dramatic entrances. But with simple truth. Truth has a way of standing quietly. Until everyone finally notices it. The person reading the document hesitated again. Their hands trembled. Not from fear, but from realizing the responsibility they carried. Words have power. Especially truthful ones. Once spoken, they can heal. They can restore. They can rewrite entire family stories. Everyone leaned forward. Every eye focused on the page. No distractions remained. Only anticipation. Only questions. Only hope. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came another sentence. Gasps echoed softly across the room. Someone covered their mouth. Someone else quietly wiped away unexpected tears. Not tears of sadness, but tears that arrive when years of uncertainty suddenly begin making sense. Even then, the biggest revelation had not yet arrived. This was only preparing everyone for the moment that would leave the entire family completely frozen. A memory surfaced. Years earlier, someone had quietly said, "One day the truth always finds its way home." Nobody understood those words then. Now, everyone remembered them. One by one, the room grew even quieter. It seemed impossible. How could silence become even deeper? Yet somehow, it did. Because everyone sensed the final lines were approaching. The words no one expected. The answer everyone feared. Or hoped. To hear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Finally, the last section of the report was read aloud. For several seconds, nobody reacted. Not because they didn't understand. Because they understood perfectly. Every assumption. Every argument. Every unanswered question. Every hidden doubt suddenly stood beneath the light of undeniable truth. The entire family froze. No one interrupted. No one argued. No one defended themselves. Truth required no explanation. It simply stood there. Clear. Quiet. Complete. Then something unexpected happened. Instead of anger, compassion appeared. Instead of division, understanding slowly entered the room. Instead of blame, people began seeing one another differently. Because truth is not always sent to destroy. Sometimes it arrives to rebuild. Sometimes it clears away years of misunderstanding so healing can finally begin. That day became more than a family story. It became proof that honesty eventually reaches every door it is meant to reach. Even if it takes years. Even if the journey feels impossible. Truth keeps moving forward. And when it finally arrives, everything changes. So if this message found you today, perhaps it isn't only about that family. Perhaps it is reminding you that hidden answers do not remain hidden forever. Perhaps your own unanswered questions are moving closer to clarity than you realize. Perhaps what seems delayed is only preparing for the perfect moment. Don't lose hope. Don't stop believing. And above all, don't stop seeking what is true. Because sometimes, the greatest miracle is not discovering something new. It is finally understanding what was there all along. If this story touched your heart, remember these words. Don't skip the moments that shape your future. Stay till the end of your journey. Because something huge is waiting for you, often just beyond the moment when you think nothing is happening. And sometimes, the truth that changes everything arrives in complete silence. The silence refused to leave the room. No one rushed to speak. No one dared to interrupt what had just happened. Even the smallest sounds suddenly felt too loud, as though the walls themselves were protecting the weight of the moment. The DNA results had been read aloud, yet somehow the greatest shock had not come from the words on the page. It came from the expressions on the faces standing around the table. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. One elderly family member slowly lowered their eyes, not because they were ashamed, but because memories they had buried decades ago were returning one after another. A forgotten promise, an unexplained goodbye, a decision made under impossible circumstances. Every hidden chapter seemed to awaken at once. Across the room, someone quietly whispered, "That can't be right." Another voice answered, "Read it again." The paper was lifted once more. Every line was read carefully. Every number. Every name. Every detail. Nothing had changed. The truth remained exactly the same. For years they had believed one story. Now another stood before them with undeniable certainty. It was as though the family had been living inside a picture missing its most important piece, and suddenly that final piece had appeared. Yet instead of bringing immediate peace, it created even greater mystery. Because if the DNA results were true, then someone had been protecting a secret for a very long time. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Eyes slowly turned toward one particular relative sitting near the window. Until that moment they had remained unusually quiet. Their hands rested calmly in their lap, but their eyes revealed emotions they could no longer hide. They didn't deny anything. They didn't defend themselves. Instead, they quietly said, "There is something I never thought I would have to explain." The room became perfectly still. Every heartbeat seemed louder. Every breath slower. Everyone leaned forward. What could possibly be more shocking than the DNA report itself? The relative reached into an old leather bag resting beside the chair. No one knew what they were looking for. Seconds felt like minutes. Finally, they removed a small faded envelope tied with a thin ribbon that had clearly survived many years. "This," they whispered, "was never meant to be opened unless today arrived." The room froze again. "Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." Carefully, they untied the ribbon. Inside were several handwritten letters, old photographs, and one folded document that looked even older than the DNA report itself. No one spoke. The first photograph was passed around the table. Confused faces quickly turned into stunned expressions. Someone recognized the location. Someone else recognized the date written on the back. But one face in the picture left everyone speechless. It was someone they had all known. Yet somehow they had never truly understood that person's role in the family's history. Questions exploded inside every mind. Why had these photographs been hidden? Who decided they should disappear? Why had nobody spoken about them before? The mystery was growing instead of shrinking. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. The relative unfolded one of the letters. Its paper had yellowed with age. The handwriting was delicate but steady. They began reading aloud. "My family may never understand why I made this choice. They may judge me for years. But one day the truth will protect someone I love." No one moved. The words settled over the room like quiet rain. Another paragraph followed. "If you are reading this, it means the day I feared has finally come. Please remember that every decision was made out of love, even if it appeared to be silence." Several people wiped tears from their eyes. The DNA results had revealed facts. But these letters were revealing hearts. There is a difference. Facts answer questions. Hearts explain why those questions existed. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. One younger family member suddenly stood. "I remember something." Everyone turned. "When I was little, I asked why one picture was missing from Grandma's photo album." Silence. She smiled, closed the album, and said, "Some pictures wait for the right season." At the time it sounded mysterious. Now, those words suddenly made perfect sense. The room felt different. Not lighter. Not heavier. Simply clearer. The pieces were beginning to connect. Yet one final piece remained missing. The oldest unopened letter. Everyone noticed it immediately. Unlike the others, it carried a single handwritten instruction across the front. "Read this only after the truth is known." Every eye locked onto that envelope. No one needed to say anything. Everyone understood. This letter had been waiting for this exact day. For this exact family. For this exact moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Slowly. Very slowly. The seal was broken. The paper unfolded. The first sentence was read aloud. If these words have reached you, then the family finally knows who belongs together, but they still do not know why. A wave of astonishment swept across the room. Someone whispered, "There's more. Far more." The letter continued describing events no one had ever discussed publicly. Names. Dates. Promises. Sacrifices. Every paragraph unlocked another hidden chapter of the family's history. What once looked like deception now appeared to be protection. What once felt like betrayal now looked like extraordinary courage. The room no longer held only surprise. It held understanding. But just when everyone believed the mystery had finally ended, a final folded page slipped from the envelope and landed gently onto the table. Nobody had seen it before. Across the top, written in bold handwriting, were 7 unforgettable words. The greatest secret has still not been revealed. The entire family stared at one another in complete disbelief. Because once again, everything they thought they understood was about to change. No one reached for the final page. It rested in the center of the table as though it carried the weight of every unanswered question the family had ever asked. Even the air in the room felt different. Hearts were racing, but hands remained still. Everyone sensed that once those words were spoken, there would be no returning to the life they had known only moments before. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. At last, someone gathered enough courage to lift the page. Their fingers trembled, not from fear, but from the realization that history itself was about to speak. Every pair of eyes followed the paper as it unfolded. The silence was so complete that even the turning of the page sounded impossibly loud. The first line was simple. If you are reading this, then the truth has already begun to set you free. The words settled over the room like sunlight breaking through heavy clouds. They were not words of accusation. They were not written to create division. They carried a different purpose altogether. The letter continued. For many years, I carried a burden because I believed protecting this secret was the only way to protect the people I loved. If I remained silent, it was never because I wanted to deceive you. It was because I hoped one day you would understand the reason. Nobody interrupted. Nobody looked away. Every sentence seemed to answer one question while opening another. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. One family member suddenly remembered an old wooden chest that had been stored in the attic for decades. It had always remained locked. Everyone assumed it contained ordinary keepsakes, so no one had ever bothered to open it. Now, after hearing the letter, that forgotten chest no longer seemed ordinary. Without saying a word, 2 relatives hurried upstairs. The others waited below, listening to the faint sounds of footsteps above their heads. Every passing second felt longer than the last. Then, a loud creak echoed through the house. The attic door opened. Moments later, they returned carrying the old chest, covered in years of dust. Every eye was fixed on it. Could this be connected to everything they had just learned? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The lock was old, but it finally gave way. Inside were carefully wrapped photographs, faded journals, and a small velvet box. The photographs showed family gatherings from long ago, but this time, everyone noticed something they had somehow overlooked for years. One familiar face appeared in almost every picture. Yet that person had never been spoken about. How could someone be present in so many memories and still become invisible over time? The mystery deepened. A journal was opened. Its pages were filled with handwritten entries describing moments of joy, sacrifice, and hope. Each page painted a picture of someone who had quietly placed the family's well-being above their own recognition. As the entries were read aloud, tears began to fill the room. The story they had believed for years was incomplete. The DNA results had revealed the truth. The letters had explained the silence. Now the journal was revealing the love behind every difficult decision. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then someone carefully opened the velvet box. Inside rested a small silver key. Nothing more. Just a single key. Confusion spread across the room. What does it unlock? Someone asked softly. No one knew. The answer wasn't written anywhere inside the box. But tucked beneath it was one final note. It contained only a single sentence. The key belongs where the family first became one. Everyone looked at each other. Where was that place? An old home? A small chapel? A forgotten cabin? Or somewhere no one had visited in years? The mystery had taken another unexpected turn. One older relative suddenly stood. I think I know. Every face turned toward them. There was a place your grandparents visited every anniversary. They never explained why. They only said it reminded them of where everything truly began. The room fell silent once more. Could that place still exist? Could the key still fit something waiting there? Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The following morning, the family traveled together. The journey felt strangely peaceful. No one argued. No one rushed. It was as if every mile brought them closer not only to a destination, but also to one another. When they finally arrived, they found an old building standing quietly beneath towering trees. Time had weathered its walls, yet it still carried an unmistakable sense of warmth. Inside, everything seemed untouched. In one corner stood a small wooden cabinet with an ancient lock. The silver key fit perfectly. For a brief moment, no one moved. Then, the cabinet slowly opened. Inside was a single sealed envelope with a handwritten message across the front. Open this only when every heart is ready to forgive before judging. The family exchanged silent glances. After everything they had discovered, they understood those words better than ever before. Someone gently broke the seal. The first sentence inside made everyone stop breathing for a moment. The DNA results revealed who you are by blood. But what I am about to reveal will show you who you became through love. Every person in the room stood completely still. Because they realized the greatest revelation wasn't about identity anymore. It was about the choices that had quietly shaped generations. And as the next page was turned, a name appeared that no one expected to see. The room froze once again, knowing that the next words would change their family's story forever.